And so for me, I was fortunate. I had very radical parents, both my mum and my dad. Even though I grew up with my mum, and I saw my dad on weekends and holidays and whatever else. When I think about it now, they're both politically very radical, right? And so they encouraged me from very young to question everything, even them, actually. They didn't always like it, but having parents that gave me that sense that authority wasn't beyond recourse. It wasn't my way or the highway. Put up or shut up, children should be seen or not heard. It was like, so what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Blah, 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 right? And my parents both had difficult times in school. They were from very difficult, very troubled backgrounds that could have turned them into the kind of people that were like, oh, my kids are doing well. You know, this happens where parents become resentful of their children even. And I don't mean that as a slight to parents. It's real. If all your life goals have been frustrated by a society, right, and then you see your children bucking those trends, your insecurity might make you pull them back and want less for them and squash them. And all of those things happen between even people that love each other. My parents didn't do that, neither of them. They both were like, I want my children to see things that I never saw, to go places that I never went, to live almost vicariously through their children. And I feel like, I mean, it's not just my older sister. I've got a younger brother who's just traveled the world. He's a cruiserweight boxer. He does loads of other things, has many skills. He can fix anything. He does decorating. He's a multiple skill guy. I've got another younger sister who's a carer. I've got another younger sister who's a professional stunt woman. And she's done big films as well. Like, she's done stunts in very, very big production films. So it's like, we're not all same mum, same dad, but I feel like in our family there was a certain radicalism and a certain culture present that gave most of us the tools and the equipment to be prepared for the kind of society that we would face. So no, we would have to work twice as hard. That's normal. Like 10 times as hard. That's normal. But on top of that, to understand what the game was and to maybe have the support to think a bit more entrepreneurially. Because my mum and dad they weren't even together when I was born. They'd split up by then. So I didn't grow up in a traditional married family. So I haven't had the same pressures of you must marry this person from this rank and you must marry up into a better family that are doctors. My mum was just like, yo, if you love someone, boom, do your thing. Yeah, I don't really business. Same with my dad. So there are a lot of those pressures that can even come actually with middle class families that make people make decisions that are probably not in their best interest. There's nothing wrong with going to uni and getting a job if that's what you want to do. But if you wanted to become a graphic designer or a novelist or any of those things, I've seen this, where grown adults still wanting their parents' approval choose to go and become doctors and lawyers because their parents said so. And they don't want to be doctors and lawyers. And actually for their mental and spiritual well-being, it was a poor decision, and even for their financial well-being. Talented people who probably could have been amazing at something different, but even in a middle class environment, those kind of bully, which is what I think it is to a degree, you know, your parents bullying you to become one career or other.
Is that basically that's all they know?
I'm not knocking parents, you know. I get it. In a capitalist society, you're defined by what you are, what you do, what you have. I'm not blaming the parents. It's societal. But I was lucky enough to have, even though we were poor, to have parents that were open-minded enough to say to me, no, go on, take them risks. Same for my sister. It was difficult for my sister, I'm not going to lie. She done well in her A-levels. I never went to college in the end, right? Well, I did a bit of it because I was doing a football scholarship. I didn't finish. My sister done very well in her A-levels, despite living in a hostel, right, and having all other kinds of challenges. And it came time, and Boo had just been made in her. But it's not out yet, so no one knows Boo's going to done the dance. She's got this dub plate she's made with sticky. She's got an offer letter to go uni. And she's trying to convince my mum, yo, I'm going to see where this garage thing takes me. I'm not going to lie, my mum she didn't force the issue, but she was like, "Rah, what do you mean you're not going to go uni? Like, for real, like you're not going to go uni?" Like, my mum wasn't over the moon, but she still had enough spirit to say, all right, go on. And my sister had enough character anyway that it wouldn't have mattered what my mum said. My sister would have been like, this is what I'm doing. And it panned out. And I see loads of people in those kind of scenarios. So I feel like, but we also have to be honest that there are not enough seats at the table for everyone. In a society it's run on inherited privilege, and people like me making it doesn't prove anything. It doesn't prove that this system works. Exceptions prove the rule. The fact that I'm an exception, I'm not much brighter than people that I grew up with. I'm not much more creative. I've had some lucky breaks along the way. I've had some support along the way, and I've had some inherent characteristics, and those combine in a weird way. But what usually happens is people want to be naive to the larger political and social forces and say, well, I'm a poor person that made it. My life's all right. Why couldn't you? Why didn't you just work harder? Why didn't you read more books? Why didn't you go uni? The fact is the vast majority of people that play by the rules do not make it, do not end up doing what they love for a living. That social contract is not being fulfilled because we live in a society in which it cannot be fulfilled. The kids of people who go to Eton are not going to compete on an even level, pound for pound, with me and you for jobs in the marketplace. They're going to run daddy's company. Because if they have to compete one-on-one with people who've made it from nothing, not had the privilege, not had the act, they're going to lose. It's obvious. I've trained harder than them. Of course they're going to lose. Other than, you know, the Stephen Hawkins of this world, who are just, you know, strange guys, just born crazily intelligent. Those freaks of nature that exist in every privileged, underprivileged, every racial group and religion. We don't know how those geniuses are born, but they exist. Other than those people, rich kids are not any smarter than anyone else. We're of African origin, and the wealth of Britain and America are linked to dramatically linked to the exploitation of Africa and the Caribbean.